Hi everybody, my name is Jim Lockridge. Some of you know me from a couple of years ago when I spent about a year coming to meetings here, hoping to engage you in a conversation either with me or with other arts leaders in the community about concerns and perspectives relating to BCA that were unhealthy. And the mindset was you can engage with them, you can engage with me, you can learn, process through this and resolve it internally for the benefit of everybody. And the outcome of that work was leadership at BCA ended up describing me as an antagonist. That effort was described as vitriolic. And ultimately, I was told that the lack of response by BCA was the response. And I perceive BCA like I have for probably a couple decades, which is that this is a room full of good people who are earnestly committed to the health of our community and its attachment and benefit from the arts. And every one of you, to me, is a good person in my mind. There's no antagonism. There's no vitriol. That's not the way I think or do things. But I wanted to comment today that, and this is something that you might assume, but it has to be said, every one of you has chosen to occupy a leadership position. And to me, that means you make leadership choices. You make decisions, and those decisions are based on values. And all of this is probably sounding very elementary to most of you, except that while I was here a few years ago, and speaking for the values I care about, of transparency, of fair representation, of the value of candor and how it demonstrates respect for the truthfulness on both sides. While I was here representing those values, this BCA board voted to create what are in practical terms permanent voting board seats. Your honorary board seats in practical terms are eternal board seats that prevent new voices or other art forms from having a voice at this table. So while we were speaking for fair representation, this board created a narrowing and a restricting of opportunity for the community to participate in it. And every one of you probably thought you were doing a good thing or the right thing at the time and weren't maybe exposed to this perspective. And I'm here thinking it's a supportive favor to say this out loud. But I hope that if you're in a position to vote to sustain and continue permanent voting board seats, honorary voting board seats into the future, that you would think for a minute about what values are motivating you. And that even if it's a challenge, even if it's a process for you to come through the other side with a different decision than you've made in the past, would you please consider that perspective and vote to return to BCA's original bylaws, which permitted three-year terms for your board members, which ensured that from now until forever, you would continually benefit, and our community would continually benefit from new voices and new representation. So that's what I came to say, and thank you all. I love you all for the work you're doing. And regardless of our relationship in the past or the perception of my engagement with you, this is what I represent. I always have and I always will. And thank you for giving me an audience for it.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Jane Adams. I'm a local artist. I've lived here for the last 7 years. And being an artist and coming into this arts community, I'm really impressed with the work that BCA has done so far. But I also would like to echo Jim's comments that I think always encouraging new voices to become a part of the BCA family is very important. And while voting in new members to seats as an honorary position, I understand the argument of it being an honor, but I think that one of the greatest honors perhaps could be to be a mentor to someone else who might be interested in assuming a role on this board. So, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.